Hey guys, this is MedzOnTIB and welcome to Weapons 101, which is the 5th video to my Tip for Dummies series. Today we're just going to go over weapons only. So in the beginning we're going to go over the basic stuff, like what are weapon ranks, and then go into more in-depth things like what the bonuses are and how they can affect your ship. If you want to go on to like the full equipment list, as you can see here, then you want to go to the game's website, so that is whalesonggames.com, as you can see right here. All I have to do is click on that because I have it bookmarked, and then go to where it says leaderboards, and then you'll notice on this navigation bar there are a few buttons. One of them says equipment, and then there's a whole range of equipment which you can view. In this video, as an example, we're going to look at the glory as soon as that loads. So, once I take it off, so you may be wondering, what do these weapon ranks mean? Do they actually affect me? Are they useful? Or maybe asking questions to that. Yes, they are actually the main thing you should look at for weapons, as the higher ranks are like levels in a sense, because the higher the rank of the weapon, then the more damage per second you can do. So if we look at any of these glory ones, you'll notice that there is that you can do 29 to 58 damage, and then you have to wait 4 seconds, as we looked at in the second video. Notice how for each rarity the direct damage, the base damage doesn't actually change, and it's just the rank that affects it. So here it's 29 to 58, and if we look at a glory 10, then here it says 53 to 106 for the same cooldown. And oh, come on, now you may be wondering, okay, if this rank thing is what increases the damage, then why should I care about rarities? Well, you should. Rarities are actually a big thing in the game, because high rarities mean a lot of things. One of the main ones is that you can fit the same weapon for lower EP equip point, for a lower number of equip points, or you can hit, or you can use a higher ranked weapon for the same number of equip points. So if we look at this Glory X, this Glory X, you can see it uses 10 equip points, and then then say for example we look at this Glory XV or 15, then you can use a Glory 15 for the same number of equip points, which is a good thing because it means that you can fit better weapons onto your ship, as well as hulls, storages and stuff like that, but we'll go over those in other videos. Another thing about rarities is that you actually have better bonuses. So here you can see there's like three things, and then you can see more things. You can see like bigger numbers. So straight away you can see that higher rarity, better bonuses, that must be good for my ship, and so on. The funny thing, well, not funny really, but although there are a few bonuses on each weapon is actually completely unique of another. And there are actually 72 weapons in the game altogether, one for each race. So there's like 18 Hedroclite weapons, 18 pirates, 18 18 weird, and then you have rift weapons. It's not really a faction, but you can only get them from rift invasions. But you don't have to know about those right now. If we look at this table, this is actually the full table of what bonuses each weapon has, sorted into rows for what each weapon is, grouped into factions or races, and then along the columns you can see what bonuses each weapon has. So straight away we can make some like assumptions or generalizations about each like race, weapon or faction. Don't know how to describe it really, but oh well. Hedroclite weapons tend to be more on the defensive side, so They haven't got as much critical chance, not as much critical, well, or any critical damage, hit, damage out. Not much of any of those really. But they are, but as I said, why am I saying? Okay, that's just a message from my phone. Anyways, the reason why I say Heteroclite weapons are mostly defensive are because of the bonuses they mostly have. So, if we look here, half the Heteroclite weapons have something that's called added resource cap. What I mean by added resource cap is that you can hold more resources if you have these kind of weapons, and depending on what rarity it is. So that's why I said better rarity means better bonuses. Now, anyway you look on this table, you see rarity. That is pretty much everywhere. What they mean by rarity is like a certain number given to what each thing is. So, okay, that's a weird way to describe it. Let me start again. So common would be 1, uncommon would be 2, rare would be 3, ultra rare would be 4, legendary would be 5, precursor would be 6 and 7, and ultimates would be 7. So that's what they mean by rarities. So if you compared a common rapture to an ultimate rapture, then you'll see the common rapture will have an added resource cap of 3, and an ultimate rapture will have an added resource. I'm not speaking properly today. The ultimate rapture will have an added resource cap of 21. So let's look at that right now, actually. So let's go to weapon, Heteroclite rapture. So like I said, the common rapture adds 3 and the ultimate one adds 21. So what that basically, have I said that? Yeah. What that means is that you can hold more resources. So you know the metals, radioactives, organics, all those stuff. You can hold more of them. So that is like another way to hold more things, as well as getting bigger storages. Now the next thing you see here is hull. So there are weapons that can actually add hull, as well as like normal armor stuff, armor equipment. But if it's common, then it will actually take away some. Notice how where it says rarity -2 and uncommon is actually 1. So you would actually get 75 times -1. So you actually have negative hull. Well, not negative hull. You actually lose hull from using common weapons that have this bonus. And you wouldn't get anything, nor you would lose anything if it's uncommon. And then from rare upwards, you would gain hull. So let's look at the, well, this one has it as well. So here you can see -75 hull capacity. That's because of what I just said here, because common would be 1. And then the uncommon rapture doesn't actually add or take away anything. And then you see it adds a hull from then on. So 75, 150. Where's it gone? Oh yeah, 225, 300, and then 375 is the maximum. The next thing is, well, the next thing for Heteroclite weapons are repair mods. What this repair mod thing means is that you can heal yourself more efficiently with metals. So, if we, well, any of these weapons actually add metal hull repair. Let's just describe it differently here and here. So let's look at the legendary Rapture 1. If you had the legendary Rapture 1, and no, let's say you didn't have it, then you and let's say for example you were 300 hull less than your max hull. So if your max hull was 3000 and your hull you had now was 2700 because some random NPC hit you, then you'll need 2 metals to heal yourself. Actually no, that's a bad example. Okay, let me start again. Let's say you had 2 metals left. Normally it would be 2 times 150 because each metal would heal 150 hull. So that would be 300. If we had the repair mods on top of that, So if we added 15%, then that is wrong. Times 1.15. Yep. Then it will actually add about 172.5 hull. You can't really get in half, so I don't know what happens to that. So it'll be 172 hull added for each metal you used. So like I said, I don't know if that remainder is taken into account or whatever, but it would be about 344, 345 hull healed from those two metals instead of the usual 300. So that is a good thing about Heteroclite weapons, as all of them have that bonus, as you can see right here. The next thing some of Heteroclite weapons have is Evasion, but we've already gone over Evasion in the second video, so I don't feel I need to go over that. XP, this is basically an added XP bonus. So 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%, 7%, depending on what the rarity is. That is pretty much self-explanatory. And then there is stun resist and then grapple resist. So you'll actually be less likely to be stunned or grappled if you have a higher rarity Heteroclite weapon, depending on which one of these it is. And so you'll probably survive like longer. Another reason why I say these are more defensive weapons. Now, the next kind of like faction or race on the list are weirds, or yeah, just weirds. These are mostly offensive weapons, so they're like the complete opposite of Heteroclites. So here you can see there's crit chance, crit damage, added hit chance, damage out. All of them have splash, and then some stun chance and grapple chance as well. Because of this, they are actually not that bad for PvP alongside the rift weapons, as you can see here, or precursor as it says on the table. So anyways, what crit chance does is that it increases the chance of you doing a critical hit. So as all of these are rarity, it's completely dependent on what rarity the weapon is. Well, why am I saying that? It's like that with all the weapons. And so if it was uncommon, then the added critical chance will be 1%. If it was legendary, it'd be 5%. It's quite small, but it's something. For critical damage, some of them are just the rarity, some of them are rarity times 3. Oh no, that's part of the pirates. So there are some weapons that do better critical damage compared to others. So normally your critical damage will... Whoop. Yeah. What's happening? Okay. Normally your critical damage will be like 2 times normally of what it would be. So if normally your damage like range was between 50 and 100, then normally you do 100 to 200. But if you had these, then that would actually increase. So I'm not exactly sure if this is how it would work, but if you've done a critical hit, and say for example, you would have hit, I don't know, let's say 200, and then I think how it would go, it will add that percentage onto it. So 1.0, let's say 1.05, because if you had a legendary weird succubus, then it would go up like slightly. But you can get higher critical damage weapons depending on what you get. So those are the weird behemoth, the firecat, the wyvern, I don't know how you pronounce that, and the banshee. Those increase the critical damage the most, and then you have the others as well. So weird weapons have no evasion. The next thing they have is hit. So that increases the hit chance. I think that's pretty simple what that means. And then the next thing is splash. Now all of these weapons have splash chance of the rarity times 4. So a common weapon would be 21. No, it wouldn't. It would be 4. What am I saying? No, I'm thinking of... No. I tell you what. Let's just go over one of. What am I doing? Let's just go to one of the weird. This is messing up. So let's look at the screamer. Once it loads. Okay, so there you go. It is basically the rarity times 4. So, as uncommon counts as 1, common counts... No, uncommon counts as 2, common counts as 1, rare is 3, ultra rare is 4, and so on. And then, any common weird weapon would add 4 splash chance. Any uncommon weird weapon would add 8. Any rare would add 12. Any ultra rare would add 16. Any legendary would add 20, any precursor would add 24, and any ultimate would add 28. How splash works is that if you hit an enemy, and then you like splash an attack onto someone else, then it will halve the damage of what you've done to the other enemy. So say for example there were 2 NPCs onto you, and you hit one of them with 100, then you could splash 50 onto the other. And if there was another one, and you were lucky enough to splash again, then it would splash 25. And so on. And then the next thing is damage out. That is basically like added damage to what you can do. So, because of this, these weapons do actually have comparatively better damage compared to ones that don't. So, let's look at it this way. The legendary. Let's look at the weapon I have. Actually, I have a legendary XIV screamer. So that adds 4% damage. If we looked at another weapon, so let's see. Let's go for a Heteroclite Glory. No, Rapture. Glory is a bad one to compare. Close that. So, where's it doing this? And let's go for XIV again. Even though it doesn't really make a difference, but oh well. So, here's the legendary Rapture XIV and the legendary Screamer XIV. You'll notice this one has the added damage and this one doesn't. So this will actually do slightly more damage than what it says here. So if we took an example, say for example, that was a weird way to say it. Each of these hit 60 normally. Then this added plus 4% damage would actually add 4% to it. So if we had 60 times 1.04, then it would actually be about 62 instead of the normal 60 as this Rapture would do. Or, like I said, any other weapon that doesn't have that bonus. Let's see. And then the next thing is stun chance and grapple chance. So that basically increases the chance of you being able to stun someone or grapple them. Now, the next thing you can see here are pirate weapons. Now, there's not really much of a generalization, apart from the fact all of them have hit chance, even though it varies between different weapons. But there isn't really a specific generalization to what pirate weapons do, in my opinion. So, like I said here, these ones are defensive, these ones are offensive. Here is a bit of a mix, because of the different things different weapons have. There's a wide variety of pirate weapons that do different things. So you can see there is one that has critical resist. One in the whole game, funnily enough. One weapon that adds stun duration, one that adds resource cap, but they're all different weapons, and all of them have hit chance, and most of them have damage out and critical chance on top of that. And then, apart from the rift weapons, they're the only ones that can add equip points to your ship. Maximum equip points, should I say. I think that is I think there isn't much to explain about pirate weapons, as I've gone most of the bonuses they have. I've gone over them when I was talking about Heteroclite and Weirds. But you do have the Rift weapons, which are the only, well, not only ones, apart from this little weapon here, they are pretty much the only ones that decrease your move speed. So notice how it says Rarity times minus 200 ms. That ms means milliseconds, by the way. So, the higher the rarity, the faster you actually go if you had that weapon equipped. So if we looked at the Star Shatter, which is a pretty nice weapon to have, also expensive if you try to buy it. Let's look at X, even though it doesn't matter that much really. Then you'll notice the common one takes away 0.2 seconds of your movement speed. So if normally your movement speed was 10, then if you had a common Star Shatter, it would be 9.8. This takes away 0.4 seconds, so your speed would be 9.6. With this, it would be 9.4. With this, it would be 9.2. With this, it will be 9. This will be 8.8, and here will be 8.6. So that's one reason why Rift weapons are good to have. A lot more of them have added equip points as well. So if you look here, yeah, all of these add one equip point to them. So you can use that equip point for something else, such as hull, storage, or I don't know, whatever kind of equipment you prefer to have. That's the end of my Weapons 101 video. I hope that pretty much like clears, no, not clears really, but so yeah, clears what each bonus does for weapons and how they can help. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, MedzOnTIB, hit that like button and comment underneath this video if you have anything to say or want to suggest something, or want to tell me about a video I can make or something like that. I'll also put a link in the description to the stable if you want to look at it in the future without having to go straight to this video. And I'll see you guys in the next vid. Happy tipping.